All right. Jamie, hi. Thank you for making time today to talk about the project management framework. As you know from working together on the proposal, this project's been approved by senior management and work is underway to understand current project management tools and practices being used across the organisation. This is obviously to understand where people are performing now and the tools that people are using to put that together into a more rigorous and consistent framework. So an important element of the project will be to embed the framework as a component of an operating model, so encompassing people, processes, and infrastructure across the organisation. To note, Dorota, who's a subject matter expert, sends her apologies for not being able to make it today, but she's across the content and documents we'll be discussing. So in preparation for the meeting, I sent you through a few documents. So I will share my screen and we'll run through the governance plan initially. The idea here is to get an understanding of the roles and responsibilities and make sure that we're all on the same page from the start of the project.
Okay, great.
Can you see that?
Yeah, maybe just go in a little bit to zoom it in a touch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. So responsibilities. So key responsibilities of myself as a project manager includes the overall project management and implementing actions, such as coordinating and attending meetings, managing daily activities, providing updates to employees, and documenting project progress. As well as project management, also responsible for undertaking the research, development, and implementation of the framework, including policy, process, and templates. Yourself as project manager, as project sponsor, this includes overseeing the project, reviewing and approving key documents such as the project plan, current state document, assessment approach, and all elements of the framework. To also communicate, frequently between us and senior management when required to assist in the implementation of the framework. And obviously ensure that the framework is being developed as a component of the operating model in line with the strategic plan. So that's obviously something that you're across more than I am with the operating model, and so definitely need your help with that part of the implementation to really understand how it fits into the other processes and policies that we're working on this year at the same time.
Yes.
So is there anything major that you think I'm missing in that overview of either of our roles?
No, and that's a fair point in terms of that operating model, which is a huge for the organisation, and the project management framework is a key part of that. So and yes, absolutely happy as the project sponsor to assist with that. And also noting with this project in itself is that you're both the project manager and you're actually doing it as well. So it's a little bit different. Whereas those bigger projects, you're not as hands-on, you're actually delegating. So it's quite a full-on project for you.
Excellent, great. And so, later on we'll meet around the project plan and we'll talk a bit more in regards to the communications aspect of it. But I think at the moment our weekly meetings and discussing these really helpful so far in understanding what else is happening within the organisation and other stakeholders.
Yeah.
And then just to mention as well, obviously Dorota, Director of Operations, as the subject matter expert. So her role will be to really be that high level reviewing the documents and the framework, and of course, making sure it's in line with the strategic plan.
Yep.
Excellent. So we'll just scroll down to governance structure, level of authority. So this is important in terms of keeping an eye on scope and any changes that will happen. As we both know at Animals Australia, it can be easy for things to move out and other things to come up. So we want to make sure that whenever there's other priorities that come up, we understand that level of authority and understanding changes. So anything that fits in with the agreed project budget and schedule is something that I can sort of manage week by week and discuss with you in our meetings. If there are any changes that would see up to 20% of the budget or schedule changing, this would be discussed between you and I formally, and you would have to formally agree to this. And then anything over 21% would be discussed and approved by Dorota.
Yes.
So I think this gives some good context around, understanding what other priorities might come up and how it fits in with implementing those across the next few months.
Yes.
Was there anything there that needed to be clarified or discussed further?
No. The only thing just to note is that that subject matter is actually the director of operations. So it's the role is a little bit it is a high level position. But yeah, just to note that this is a little bit of a unique situation.
Yeah, excellent. So scope of the project. So we'll go out of the governance plan now and jump into the scope management plan.
Yeah, we just increase the size a touch.
So understanding what is in and out of scope. I think everyone involved, the project team is of us, but it is definitely really dependent on everyone in the organisation inputting into the way that they practice and the things that they're using now in terms of project management. And so I think everyone understanding in and out of scope, that being that we want to actually understand what a project is really important. And that's something that we, I think, haven't really done before. And then shifting from a reactive to a really proactive approach. And then using tools, Monday.com and Trello and software that makes life easier is an important part of this as well. That it's not just about red tape or making things more process driven. It's about making things easier.
Yeah.
Out of scope is general everyday work. So, things that don't have a beginning and an end date. And also anything that is highly technical. So other projects that we have in the governance space around IT development, that's going to take probably a bit more of a specific approach, and we'll, I guess, deal with that as we implement the more highly technical projects. And also Animals International is currently not being included in the scope. And so I think it's something that we focus on Animals Australia and the Melbourne and Australia office first. And then once we have some processes, we can work with the international team to include them as well. Anything to be added in that?
No, just to note on those IT projects, they can vary. So when you do and talk to the organisation, you are going to probably come across many smaller IT ones, and I think also looking at your different methodologies can actually assist as well. But I think what you're referring to here is your very detailed big IT projects that require a number of different documentation. So, but generally they're a combination of waterfall and agile. So, and just also to note, that we'll probably define those the ones that don't have a date, that aren't a project, as more just core work that we do in the organisation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So 2 other documents that I sent, the scope management plan and work breakdown structure. I think they're fairly straightforward. I mean, it's just understanding how important it is to define and stick to that scope. Something that we haven't really done very much. And especially having so many projects that we're delivering in the next few months, that making sure that we're sticking to those plans. So risk management, just wanted to touch on a couple of areas, so that having the many projects in place means that we have to work really closely understanding the operating model and strategic framework. And so again, looking for you in these weekly meetings, if there's any changes or things that we need to know that will affect the implementation of this framework. And I think just generally, it's sort of a key person risk. the fact that it's us driving it, the two of us driving it, you know, if there's sort of internal illness or, you know, anything happens in that space, just to try and make sure that people are more across it if they have to step in and help with any of it as well.
Yeah.
And things like timelines being moved, you know, it's probably likely, but I think fairly minor in terms of understanding that we're going to be working on this framework. It's, you know, if it gets delayed due to other projects, it's the worst outcome, but we keep, you know, pushing and making sure that people see across the organisation the importance of having these processes in place.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think that sums it up. Is there anything about that you want to discuss further or need some more clarification?
I think that the key with this project is linking it to the operating model. That's the one that's got the backing from the board. So by linking it and working with the team that's doing the operating model review allows you to get the support that you need. So that's crucial. And I think that the last one is scope. It's the one that is easily it's easy to get scope creep, and that takes a lot of work, and that's something to be vigilant every day. So yeah,
absolutely. Excellent.
Well, otherwise, it's all good.
Sorry.
Otherwise, all very good. Makes sense. I like it.
Excellent. Yeah, and we'll discuss the project plan and the other documents in the next couple of weeks as well.
Right. That sounds good. All right. Thank you, Sarah.
That's it. Thank you.